Hey everyone, Rich here. In this video I'm going to show you how to speed up your browser by using your cache directory in RAM instead of your hard drive. This one is particularly useful for people running slower computers or older computers. For example, a netbook. Most of them only have single core processors and a minimal complement of RAM, 1 to 2 gigabytes at most. So you're fighting against the speed of the processor because it's kind of slower and the lack of memory. So the fastest thing as far as storage medium on those computers is concerned, assuming you don't have a solid state disk, is the RAM. And the way to do that is by using the RAMDisk software called RAMDisk from DataRam. And if you go to the page, well, actually I skipped past that. If you search for DataRam RAMDisk, as it shows here in Google, the first result is the link you need to go to, and you scroll down, and there's a downloaded. There's 4 of them here. The one you want is the free one. Yes, it is free, and you can get that. And then once you do, it will look like this. So you have the DataRam RAMDisk configuration utility. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a 100 megabyte RAM disk, and then it's going to create it as a drive letter in Windows, and then I'm going to use Firefox as the example here. So what will happen is that when I launch Firefox with a specific profile, it will use the RAM as the folder, and then as the cache folder, the profile folder. The entire profile will be stored in RAM, and therefore it will speed up the browser on a slower computer. On a newer computer, or should I say modern computer, you probably will not notice a difference. But on a slower computer, such as a netbook, as I mentioned a moment ago, yes, you will notice a difference. It will be, I won't say significantly faster, but it won't be doggedly slow. So, and you'll know what I mean when you try it. Anyway, in the settings here, 100 megabytes, because that's all we need. We could get away with 50 actually, but I'm going to play it safe and go to 100. Use it as a FAT32 partition. As far as load and save, we leave all this unchecked with the exception of the disk label for the time being. Event log we can leave untouched, and options we can leave untouched. And then start. So what this is doing is that it's starting a service driver in Windows, and it has started successfully. And if I take a look here, there it is, RAM disk drive. In my system, drive K. On yours it may be a different drive letter, but you have to go into the computer part of it here and just see where it is. In mine's drive K, and it says 98.4 meg, which is the proper 100 megabyte that I specified. Now I already have Firefox installed, so what I'm going to do is do a run dialog here, which is either flag key R or start and then run, and I will type Firefox-P. Now what this does is it will bring up the, let me minimize this, the user profile manager in Firefox. Now bear in mind that just about every web browser has a profile manager. Opera has one, Chrome has one, Chromium has one. You can specify a different cache folder even in Internet Explorer, but I think their profiles is based on the Windows user profile, so you'd have to actually use a different one to specify 2 different IEs, so to speak. But anyway, so I'm going to create a profile here, and I will purposely call this RAM disk. Now it's putting this into the roaming folder, so we're going to change that. And I'm just going to put in, actually, you know what, before I do that, I should go in and create my folder first. So I'll open up the RAM disk and do a new folder and just call it Firefox. So I can go back here, choose the folder, and just type in K drive Firefox. Now remember, it's K on my system. Might be different on yours. Okay, so K Firefox is going to be the RAM disk folder where the profile for Firefox will be stored, and finish. And then now it says don't ask on startup. You might want to uncheck this so it asks you which one you want to use. If you don't do that, it will always launch the one that you pick here. So, or you'll have to run with Firefox-P to switch back to the other one. So I will have it, yes, I want it to ask me on startup by unchecking this box, start. and it's essentially going to start Firefox as if it were a brand new installation. Let me just resize this to window. There we go. Now this is, at the time of this recording, the latest Firefox, which is 8. Now my old profile is not gone. I'm just using a different one, which is in RAM. Now if I take a look at the RAM disk here and open it up, now it's created all this stuff, which is all the Firefox profile stuff. Now the only thing we really have to do here is I have to make sure to tell Firefox not to exceed a specific amount of file storage when it's caching information. Let me just close this here, and I will go to Options, and then I think it's under Advanced. Oh, yep, here it is, Advanced, and then the Network tab, where I will override automatic cache management and limit the cache to 75 megabyte. Now, why not 100 megabyte? Because there's other things in Firefox that are in use that add to the total data being used, such as any add-ons you may install and other little SQL databases that it uses and things of that sort. So I will tell it, don't go over 75 megs for the cache, and when it reaches that limit, you won't get any warnings. It will just discard anything in the cache folder in order to keep refreshing itself, so to speak. And that's that. So then when you start loading things, it will put it into the RAMDisk folder. Now if I go back to the RAMDisk folder again, let me go to computer K. Now notice it's not empty anymore. It's using, how much is it using? Yeah, 75 megs free out of 98. It's using quite a bit. So if I go into cache here, now it's got all this stuff in here because of the website, the PCMech site I just loaded. And that is the way it looks. Now, I can't really show the performance difference, at least not in this computer that I'm recording on, between how it operates on using the hard drive compared to using the RAM disk folder. But believe me, on an older, slower computer, you will definitely notice the difference. Now, the last thing we have to do here is that, now it is true that on a reboot, the RAM will be cleared, because it's non-volatile memory, which means you can't store anything permanently on it. That's the way random access memory works. So what we do is save an image. Now once I have my Firefox all set up, and we'll just assume it is for the most part, we close Firefox first so that the profile is not locked. And then we will save the disk image, which will put it into the root of C as ramdisk.img. Can you select a different location? Of course you can, if you want to, as long as it's not the RAM disk itself. And we save. And actually it will ask you if you want to save it into your documents folder, which does not require administrator permissions, but I will just save it right to the root because that's fine, and hit OK. It doesn't take that long to do, and it's already done. And then just check these two boxes, so load at startup and save disk image on shutdown. So that means that anything you do in that Firefox profile that's using the RAM disk will store itself to the image. You can even have it autosave if you want to. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Don't think it's really that necessary. But the point is that it will save it to the image. And then since RAMDisk works on a Windows device driver status, on boot, it will load the device driver, load this image, and then you can go right into your Firefox using that profile in the RAMDisk folder, and it works. And everything is saved. It will look exactly as it does now. And then you can go ahead and go back into Firefox. And let me show that one more time. I'll launch Firefox. Now notice it's actually asking me which profile I want. It's because I don't have this checked. I want it to do that. And then I go to the RAMDisk profile. And it goes right in. And that's the way it works. Now, a couple final notes specifically about the Firefox browser before closing this video out. Now, it is true that add-ons do not carry over from profile to profile. So any add-ons you may have, when you create a new profile, you got to install those add-ons again. That is the way Firefox works, unfortunately, and preferences and things like that. Any password managers like LastPass, any bookmark managers like Xmarks, any toolbars you may be using, you will have to install those per profile. Now, it is true you could copy your existing profile from your old Firefox profile to the new RAMDisk profile, but I don't recommend doing that because it's probably big. It's probably bigger than 100 megabytes. So I would actually recommend just creating the profile from scratch, installing all of your extensions, add-ons, whatever you have to have in there, and just go for it that way. And then when you do, you can go back and forth between one profile and the other. And on the final note is, can you run two Firefox profiles at the same time? To the best of my knowledge, you cannot. If you try to do it, Firefox will tell you that an instance is already running and you can't run it two times, or you can't run multiple instances using different profiles. I'm sure there's a hack in order to let you do that, but to be honest, it'd be too much of a pain in the butt anyway. So just go ahead and do the second profile on the RAM disk. And again, if I haven't mentioned it, I can't remember if I did or not. I'll say again, this does load on boot. So it's not like you have to, once you configure this and you save the disk image and you have everything loaded as such, when you go to close it out, it'll ask you if you want to save the settings. And it will say it's running and it won't be applied until the next time the driver is started. All that means is that when you're done, just reboot. And then you'll be good to go with this, and it will save the profile, save all the data information, and so on. And that's it. So hopefully for you people using older computers or older, slower, or just slower, or whatever, this is an easy way to speed up your browser by using RAM, which is faster accessing than your hard drive.